And we welcome to the Mark Hoke Show the newly crowned and two-time TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Who else could it be but Moose? Welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're thrilled to have you on the show, and congratulations on your victory at Hard to Kill, taking out Alex Shelley and bringing that title home. Saw you had put up on Twitter a moment you'll never forget. What
Yeah,
are you going to remember about that night?
everything, every single thing, everything. I mean, it's rare. It's very rare that you ask a guy a question, a guy who's won multiple championships, and you ask them which championship means the most to you, and they say anything other than the first one. Because for most people, the first championship is the first major championship is always the most memorable one, right? And in my case, the second one is more memorable to me than the first time I won it. Um, and the reason being is I'm in the main event of probably the biggest pay-per-view in the company's history, right? The rebrand of the rebrand of TNA, going back to TNA from being away from TNA for 8 to 9 years, right? Um, we're performing in front of the biggest crowd that we've performed in front of in the last 10 years. Um, and I'm in the main event of that. And then I win the brand new TNA World Championship. So, man, that makes it so huge, man. And yeah, it's a moment I would never forget. It's gonna stick with me for the rest of my life, and I'm happy I was put in that situation, in that position.
Well, what did you think of the Vegas crowd and the setting in the Palms? Because it was you said it was the biggest crowd TNA has performed in front of in a long time, and I thought it was a pretty unique atmosphere. It kind of reminded me of the Hammerstein Ballroom a little bit, but a little more modern looking setting. Were you pretty impressed with how everything came out in Vegas?
Yeah, it looked great. I was happy that one thing I was very happy about is that we went back to the tunnel for the entrances. I was really happy with that. Yeah, I mean, I was happy with everything. When I couldn't sleep the night before. That's how antsy I was to get the day going. And I was just I've never been excited for a show like I was for this pay-per-view, and I don't think I'm ever gonna have that excitement like the excitement I had for Hard to Kill.
Then you turn around the next night for Snake Eyes, and you're in the ring with Okada. I
Yeah,
mean, what a thrill that had to be. And I know
yeah.
and you guys played that so well. And the confrontation finally happened. What was that like to get to wrestle against Okada?
If I'm not mistaken, we got a "This is awesome" chant just with me and Okada facing off.
Hmm.
So that shows that's definitely a matchup that people want to see and people would love to see. So yeah, I was happy by it, and I hope that's something that happens um, in New Japan if he leaves or if he stays, or hey, hopefully he comes to Impact and we can have that matchup.
Now, obviously, the rebrand has now taken place. You guys got off a terrific weekend. What's next? Where do you want to see TNA go? Because now you have this momentum. What do you do with it?
I mean, I trust management will make the right decisions because they've been doing it for the past 5 years since they've been on board. So I put that on their hands. I'm just a wrestler. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do what I do every time I go out to the ring. I'm gonna give you 110% because that's all I know.
Now, you did get a little surprise after you won the world title. Nic Nemeth shows up,
Yeah,
kind of spoiled the moment for you a little bit,
it
but
didn't.
it didn't.
It
Okay,
did.
it didn't. So,
It didn't at all.
what'd you think of that?
I loved it. Honestly, telling the truth, because um, Yeah, I mean, I threw a punch at him because at that moment, I thought he was ruining my spot, because I just won the championship, but I had to sit down and actually think about it, and I was like, "You know what? I probably should have just walked away because, a guy of his, stardom coming to TNA only helps us out. It helps the company out because he could have chose any other place to go, but he chose TNA. So that shows you that TNA is a hot spot if you have a megastar like Nemeth coming to us. So when I sat down, I actually thought about it and wasn't hot tempered. I was like, you know what? I should have just walked out the ring. I got what I wanted, which was a TNA World Champion. So I'll give him his little spotlight and let him do his thing. But me being a hothead, I swung at him and he kicked me in the face and gave me the zigzag, if that's even still what he calls it. But I'm happy he chose TNA and I'm happy he's part of the team. And obviously, I'm gonna get mine's back when the time is right, and I'm gonna reintroduce him to Moose when I feel like the time is right.
It's been an incredible journey for you, and you look back at the run. Went from the NFL into Ring of Honor and Japan, and obviously this ride through TNA. And it's been such an amazing journey for you through your career. Now, a two-time TNA champion. When you reflect back on your career and to get to this point, I'd imagine you had to think about it a little bit after you won this title again. What's this ride been like for you all these years?
It's been fun. Like when you do something you love to do, you never have to work a day in your life, right? So I'm just enjoying the moment. I'm enjoying it every single day, every single match I'm in. Because you never know when your last match will be, so you have to enjoy it. So that's all I could do, man. That's all I do is enjoy every single moment I'm in.
Now, one thing that I noticed recently, and it was really neat that last on Saturday I was kind of up high, and then I got to be down lower on for the Snake Eyes tapings. And I've been watching you for a long time. Your body changed a lot. I mean, it seems like you've been really putting a lot of time into the gym. And I heard some people were really pushing you to change your physique a little bit. And dude, you look good. What prompted you to really put the time in the gym to get yourself in to look that great?
It's funny because the last interview I just did, she asked the same question Denise Soldado. I think hopefully I'm not butchering her last name. But one of the I'm gonna give you a full answer to this question. One of the reasons why I decided to stay with TNA and not leave to go elsewhere is because of my relationship with Scott Demore. Now, Scott Demore, we we have several different relationships. We have the boss talent relationship. We have the mental pupil relationship. We have the big brother little brother relationship, and then we have the best friend relationship. And it's one of those things where if I went elsewhere, my relationship with whoever my boss would strictly just be boss employee relationship, right? So if I needed any friendly advice or brotherly advice, I couldn't go to whoever my boss is. I would have to go elsewhere. Well, with TNA, if I'm having family problems, I could call Scott. If I need to talk to somebody as a friend, I could call Scott. If I need business advice, Scott is a very successful businessman. I could call Scott. If I have issues with work, he's my boss. I could call Scott. So it's kind of like four different relationships in one, right? So to answer your question, I remember at a taping we was in, and Scott pulled me aside. And it was like, man, I remember the time I used to see your abs. What happened, dude? He was like, yeah. And I looked at
Wow.
him and I was like, oh, you son of a gun. He was like, I'm just saying, like, you look okay, but you could look a lot better like you used to do. And I was like, you know what? That's you trying to tell me I'm a fat ass, and I know you. You're not gonna call me a fat ass, but you're gonna give me little, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna say little subliminal shots to make me feel that way. So, and I'm happy he did. And Scott has always been real with me, and he's like Scott is one of those guys that if I do something bad, he's gonna be like, yeah, that was bad. He's not gonna beat around the bush. He's not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna, and that's a relationship we have, and that's how I like people to push me. Obviously, I played in the NFL for 7 years, and that's how I was so successful in that sport because I had coaches who, if I did something bad, they would be like, "Hey, Moose, you suck. Get better." And that's kind of the relationship me and Scott has is, "Hey, you're chubby." You know what I'm saying? Let's get back to it. Like, I know you have it in you. Let's do it. And he told me that, and I was like, you know what? It's time to get back to work. And it took me 10 weeks to transform. And that's why I'm here now.
Very nice.
Which is funny because of the first transformation I had, which 3 years ago, it was Scott was the reason why I made that transformation. He sent me a picture with no words, and when I tried to call him back, he wouldn't pick up. And I was like, "Oh, you son of a bitch! I gotta dial it in and try to lose weight." And that I made a transformation then, and he did it again. So I love Scott to death. Probably one of the only guys, one of the few guys in our roster I would take a bullet for. I'm glad to call him a friend, my boss, and a brother.
Well, it's funny you say that because I just interviewed Tommy Dreamer last week, and he basically said, nobody on the roster likes Moose. Now, why would Tommy say something like that?
No, Tommy is right. Tommy is 100% right. I'm a lovable guy. I wouldn't say nobody on the roster likes Moose because everybody on the roster loves Moose. Nobody. I guess what Tommy meant to say is nobody on the roster likes to deal with Moose. That's a big difference. Everybody loves me, but they hate dealing with me
Fair
because
enough.
my biggest curse is probably my biggest gift is once I decide I'm going to do something, I'm going to put 110% into doing whatever that thing is. And if I have to call you a million times to make sure it gets done, I'm going to call you a million times. Now, people hate that because I might call you at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're trying to get some sleep, or I might call you while you're with your family or while you're with your kids. And because I'm that much big of an idiot, I don't think about what you're doing on your personal time. I'm only thinking about what I'm trying to get done because I told myself I'm going to get this done. So it's a big curse and it's a huge gift for me.
So, what are your goals for this World Championship run? What do you see yourself doing this time around?
Uh, Honestly, to be a better champion than I was with my first run. Mm, that's the only way I can answer that question. I mean, um, I don't dictate what challenges comes up. The challenges and management dictate what challenges comes up. So, whatever those challenges are, my job as champion this year is to have better performances that I did the last go around.
Yeah, and I have a feeling Josh Alexander's a guy that's going to be in your future after what he did this weekend. Man,
Yeah,
it's going to be fun.
he had a big weekend. He beat Hammerstone, and he had a good showing against Will Ospreay Part Two. So I'm looking forward to whoever it is, and hopefully it's Josh because I have to redeem myself because I have never beat Josh, and I won't say I've never beat Josh, but I have beat Josh, but I've never beat him when it mattered the most, when a title was on the line. So I hope he's a challenger.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun when that confrontation happens. And then, of course, you've got some confrontations coming up here down in Florida as you guys are going to be at the Osceola Heritage Park for some TV tapings Friday and Saturday. You're going to be messing around with Kushida. You and your system guys have a match with Kushida, Alex Shelley, and Kevin Knight, and then you're going to be wrestling Kushida on Friday there too. So a
Yeah.
little bit of work with the time splitter, man.
Yeah, no, and that's a first time matchup. I've never. It's funny. Me and Kushida have tagged a bunch in Japan. We've tagged a bunch in Japan. We've had a lot of multi tag matches, but we've never done anything one on one. So this is a first time ever matchup. I'm looking forward to it, and I can't wait till the fans see what magic me and Kushida bring together.
Well, it should be a great time, and it's going to be very interesting to see where TNA goes. And you're the man at the helm. It's going to be exciting to see.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it myself.
All right. Well, and Moose, where can everybody find you if they want to look you up on social media and so on?
My Twitter is, or X, whatever you prefer to call it, is the Moose Nation, and my Instagram is Moose Nation 69.
All right. Well, Moose, I want to thank you for coming on the Mark Hoke Show. I do appreciate it. I want to wish you all the best. And once again, congratulations on becoming the new TNA World Champion. We wish you all the best of luck in the world. And everybody can come out and see you in Orlando this coming weekend.
Thank you, sir.
You got it. Have a great day, sir.
You too, bye.